how does Frieza say it? Monkey. That's how he says it, right? We just got back from the pre-screening of The Monkey, the Stephen King short adaptation film, and it was a movie.
I don't know. I didn't think it was gonna be funny.
Yeah, that threw me off, honestly.
I feel like none of the promotional stuff, at least that I saw, like had it be funny at all. And I was really hoping for something that was a lot scarier than that. Not that, like, there was so much potential there, and like, for what?
Yeah, no, honestly, I mean, I guess with the Stephen King adaptation, I should have assumed some things where he always has, first of all, kids are always a big role in a lot of his things. And same with like some subtle messaging, which we'll talk about this later. But all around, he also does have some comedy, even like It always has comedy, and any of his other ones too. I know he made The Dark Tower, not a good film, but still had some comedy. He always adds like little light touches, but this one was just a straight comedy. I mean, all around. So we'll start with the non-spoiler review and see, since this movie literally just came out, we watched a pre-screening of it. We'll give our non-spoiler review just in case anyone wants to watch that without getting spoiled. So The Monkey features the main character is Hal, Hal, and his twin brother Bill, and they find the toy monkey from the father supposedly, and it's just a killer monkey, and it does a bunch of deaths throughout the film, and that's kind of the whole premise, right? And then eventually 25 years later, it comes back after they try to destroy it, and it's now like haunting everything and just doing more death and more kill. It's kind of the whole premise of the film. It's a really awkward comedy, in my opinion. It, like, the dialogue was just awkward, which was funny in some parts, but also dragged on sometimes. During some certain scenes, and just the characters weren't as fleshed out as I really maybe wanted them to. I sort of speak. I don't know. This movie just really kind of got me. I was expecting something completely different. Not to say I didn't enjoy this, because it was definitely enjoyable. It had some things going for it, but all around, the story just wasn't it. And I mean, this is an adaptation of a short. It's just a Stephen King short novel, so it only had so much information to go and base off. But still, like, I don't know, man.
The comedy was pretty good. A lot of the imagery, I think, was really good. There are a few shots in there that are like pretty haunting. Shots of like the monkey, and there are some nightmares that Bill has that I really enjoy.
Yeah, that's true.
The kills were pretty creative, but for the most part, a lot of them were super over the top.
Yeah, I'd say actually this kind of had a feeling like it was made for children almost.
I don't know about that.
Well, not because obviously it has a lot of explicit death and murder, but honestly, the kind of vibe with the editing style, the cuts, the comedy, and the...
I don't want to say that makes it made for children. I think it's just for I think this is just like a newer form of like comedy.
I don't know, man. It kind of felt like, when you watch those old Cartoon Network cartoons, like maybe like a Total Drama Island, and it just has some of those themes, like, cuts or like awkward comedy. It felt like a teenager kind of film is what I'm saying. And so even with like some of the deaths or some certain scenes that kind of allude to teenage and growth,
I'm not really sure either. I think I was assuming that this was gonna be like lean heavily on like family.
Yeah.
And I guess it did.
Might have, sure.
But I don't know, it kind of just all got thrown out the window. It was
yeah.
It was the ending was really anticlimactic.
That's true. That was a big issue.
Yeah. And then I feel like every point in the movie where like it was meant to be taken seriously, it was just turned into a joke no matter what.
Yeah, it did have that problem with just nothing was serious ever, which I always hate. I always will complain about that, because like, if you can't take your own movie seriously, don't expect me to. And I don't think they were expecting anyone to take it seriously, but then don't make a horror film. Like, it was not scary. I'll tell you that. If you're trying to go watch a movie that was actually scary, this is not it. This is absolutely just a comedy. It has almost no scare factor, no suspense even in my opinion.
I'm not gonna say that. I think in the very beginning,
It can be creepy.
I think in the very beginning they were kind of set. I thought they were setting something. They were setting some things up with, especially with the monkey, like when they first get it. But yeah, like I want to say basically everything after. Well, it's not spoilery, but after the second death, I think it all just goes out the window.
Yeah, it really does. It had some themes to do with like fatherhood. That was a big theme to
Yeah.
me in the film. A huge one. Fatherhood was thrown around everywhere, but they
Yeah.
didn't do anything with it, in my opinion at least.
No, I don't think so either.
Again, same with like family. Also didn't do anything with it, didn't go anywhere. And the movie did end really abruptly, honestly. It had some story elements that I feel like it was going towards and a certain ending it was trying to accomplish, but the movie just ends, which is like kind of disappointing, especially because the adaptation had a certain ending. And so you were kind of like, all right, are they going to do the same ending as the adaptation or were they going to change it up? And they just did nothing. So I felt like it might have been a little bit lazy even.
I'm not sure. I mean, you always want to make things your own whenever you're doing this sort of thing. I've never read.
Yeah.
I've never read the short. I've never read anything.
I just read
King.
a synopsis on it, but what I've gotten, it's like not completely different, but it's pretty far off.
Yeah, I feel like
which-
that's usually par for the course for
Yeah,
most adaptations.
Yeah, most adaptations don't really follow like everything in line, and they don't have to. But I mean, I will appreciate it was a short novel, and this is a short movie, only being an hour 30. But it dragged on sometimes. Half the film is like Bill and Hal and their children, and half the film is like when he's an adult, Hal. And it just wasn't timed correct. Like, I don't think it was paced that well. The writing also was just really awkward, which was not. Again, it dragged on sometimes.
Yeah, I wrote this down too. The characters, they like never grew up.
Yeah, pretty much.
They just never grew up.
Only in appearance.
Yeah, Bill and Hal were like the same as kids as they were when they were adults,
Yeah.
and that was one of the weird things that threw me for a loop. Like just seeing them interact with each other then versus now, or back then versus in the present was like it wasn't different at all.
It wasn't, yeah, not even a little bit. So I guess we can go into spoilers. Before that, if anyone's just gonna stop watching, should you watch this film if you like Stephen King adaptations and if you like comedy horror?
If you like Terrifier, watch it.
Yeah. But also, I'm not gonna say run to this theater and get your ticket immediately. You can wait till it goes on streaming.
Yeah.
To be honest, so
Yeah.
we're going to spoilers now. That second death with their mother dying was bad.
It was bad.
It was bad in my opinion. It sucked.
I don't know. I didn't think it needed to be super over the top. I feel like the whole point of it was supposed to be them losing their innocence or whatever the case
Well, it was
is.
supposed to be him trying to kill his brother.
No, yeah,
and
that's what I mean. I
Yeah.
mean that's literally the moment everything changes.
Everything. And that's what the whole movie is kind of based on. Like whenever Bill grows up and he's like, nah, he killed my mom. And that's when he's doing all the things with the monkey. And then Hal also just never really accepting it and thinking everything I touch, everyone I'm close with just dies. So, but I will say the effects for the deaths sucked in my opinion.
I don't think so.
Like, dude, it looked like Kool-Aid was dripping out of her ears.
I mean, for
Trash.
I don't think so.
Even like when the first kill with the nanny, when she gets her head clean off, that looked so bad.
I don't think it looked any worse than Terrifier.
Nah, Terrifier has practical. I don't think anything here was practical. Besides maybe like one of the kills with the uncle.
Yeah, but that's what I mean.
Yeah, but not the first one literally looked like a Power Rangers CGI.
I don't think it looked that bad.
It was pretty bad, man. You don't just that was a clean cut, nothing, or just the lady exploding and it was clearly like mannequin legs going everywhere, or I don't know, just a bunch.
Yeah,
of,
but it's a comedy.
yeah, but at least make it try and look good. Like again,
I don't
that's
think,
why
I don't
me.
think to me they weren't that bad. I mean, the
When I watched Terrifier though, like Terrifier has even the first Terrifier, not the very first, like the first one with the main actor. There was one scene where like he cut the girl in half, but that was a real actor. For most of the time, it was a real actor. Except you could tell when they were cutting a mannequin in half. But for the most part, it was a naked woman, just hung up, and then once they start just chopping her down, you can tell. But even then, they cut it correctly and do it. This was just not even clip of a body getting blown up into a million bits.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It was, to me, it looked really fake. Maybe I've just gotten used to some good gore, like Hard Eyes. Hard Eyes had great gore.
I don't know. I wouldn't even consider it all that gory, to be honest.
Hard Eyes had good like blood, and it had good effects, like, you know. And Hard Eyes had over the top kills too, you know, with a beheading, with the
not to the same degree. I don't know. I guess it depends on what you like. It's a movie about a like killer monkey essentially. I don't know. I don't know how realistic you want it to be. Like, I guess. I don't know. Like, I wasn't watching it. I didn't even know it was going to be gory. That really wasn't what impressed me, nor what I wanted to see the movie for. I enjoyed, like, I don't want to say symbolism, but there were a few shots in there that, like, to me were like super ominous that I enjoyed way more than like any of the kills that happened. Like the scene, I believe it was right after he turned the key, like on purpose, like with intent the first time.
Yeah.
And he accidentally, you know, spoilers, right? Spoiler alert. He Hal accidentally kills his mom, trying to kill his brother because his brother and everybody else in the school essentially bullies him like every single day. And so he ends up killing his mom, and then like there's a scene when he's sleeping where he asks his mom for advice about what to do, about life, and she's talking to her, and she looks over at him, and she just starts screaming in pain, and like I guess even though he didn't see his mom die, he's just watching her like scream in agony as like blood is pouring out of her eyes and ears, like stuff like that to me was crazy. Or like right after he turns the key for the monkey, and he's like hitting the drum, and the monkey looks different, where it's like it's got the smile, but it's got like this evil squint, like it's happy to be doing whatever it's doing. You know what I mean? Yeah. Yeah, like stuff like that to me was like, that's creepy. Like that's weird.
It had some like creepiness to it. At the end of the day, the monkey, the actual like doll, kind of sick. I like how it was kind of haunted. We didn't really know why it was, like why it just killed things or not.
I'm assuming it was some sort of deity.
Maybe it was. Also, it never really brings up like anything to do with the actual father of them.
No.
So we don't know anything. Maybe it has to do with him. Maybe he died to it. Like, you know, all these story notes that I'd maybe like to have known, but it's fine without knowing them. So I'm not too mad at it.
Yeah.
But the monkey itself was pretty good, and honestly, a pretty decent villain. Where it's not, it just murders. It just enjoys killing. It has nothing to do with who's turning it, who's not. Even though it was a big thing, I knew this was gonna happen, but it was a big thing where Bill was like, if you turn the key, you can't die. When at the end of the movie, that's what got Bill. Where I guess he really didn't turn the key.
Yeah, no, he didn't turn the key. And
he was more like forcing the monkey, and the monkey was like, nah.
Yeah, I think that was the point.
But still, I feel like I liked that whole like, okay, you really just can't. Like, even if you think you're in control, you're never in control of this thing. And so I will say I want to touch on the ending a little bit because I read the synopsis, and first of all, in the novel, Hal doesn't have a twin brother. Okay, so that's thrown out the window. Hal has two sons. Doesn't really matter because Petey, the son in the movie, he's the main one anyway in the book. So okay, cool. The ending in the book is Hal and Petey get the monkey and throw it in like a ditch. Throw a bunch of rocks at it. Oh, no. They go to the ocean with it.
Okay.
And a bunch of fish die, and it almost even kills Hal because of like how much death was going on. But then after that, it kind of just bang, and that's it. So instead in this one where they're taking the monkey home, basically.
I guess that's not even any better.
It's not, but at least it's like an ending. Well, not a good one, but still an ending. This one, I feel like what they were trying to do is lead up to a sequel, maybe.
I don't think so. I think it's supposed to just be implied that it's just he said that you're just gonna have to accept that that's just what they have now.
I think they just don't want it to fall into the wrong hands. But if they do want, and if this film does do well, I don't think it will. But if it does do well, like enough money, I feel like they will make a sequel out of it.
I guess they might.
They've done a sequel out of anything that does money well, like Terrifier.
I think the whole point of it, I mean, Terrifier the same way. though, where he's essentially just like a force of nature.
Yeah,
Like
but
you
eventually his story will end,
Mm-hmm.
and pretty soon actually. Where I think the fourth or fifth is his last film,
Mm-hmm.
but
They're not the same sort of antagonist, though.
they're not the same sort of antagonist. So this monkey, though, I feel like you give it maybe a trilogy at most, and it should be done. Honestly,
I mean, I hope not. I don't think there's enough there.
Exactly. I really don't think there's enough story, but I think what I believe is they were trying to maybe possibly open, like, have the door open for a sequel if this blows up. Is it a bad film? No. Do I think it'll blow up though? Nah, I really don't. It's not enough. I don't think. I mean, and like I don't know. It was funny with like the pastor, the the priest there at the father in the church. It was just some like teenager, and it was just he was basically it felt like he learned to be a pastor. The way he learned was just through AI or something. You know what I'm saying? Like he cheated his way to become a pastor because he just got up there. He was like, life, you know, happens, it doesn't, it is what it is, don't die, or maybe do, you know. It was just he was just saying shit. Pretty funny, but also it got old. I don't know. That's a lot of the jokes throughout this film just got old or went nowhere. The stepdad for Petey went nowhere with that. It was just kind of like, oh, here he is, nowhere. His mom, also Petey's mom, never touched on, didn't go anywhere. What other storyline?
Those aren't really storylines. I don't think they have to go anywhere anyway.
But like jokes or like characters, just nothing. Nothing. I understand you have to have some kind of like random characters and things to advance the story, but that was just, it really felt useless. Like honestly, I don't know.
For me, a lot of the comedy for me was just the sound design, like the music. The music was so funny to me. The way they cut in and out, and just like the cuts in general. There's a point in there where Bill is talking to or Hal's talking to Bill, and obviously Bill had already killed their mom at this point, but he doesn't want to say that he essentially killed their mom trying to kill him or his brother. But he's like pleading with his brother to like not turn the key.
Yeah.
He's like no, don't do it, and like it just jump cuts to like their uncle who's just dead now.
Yeah.
That was so funny to me. And then like there's another part where they're like speeding through people that have died in the town that like where they used to live, and it's just like it's just like the horror music, and then it cuts off, and then the horror music again, and like for every death, like the horror music is cutting on and cutting off, and then cutting on and cutting off again.
I did like some of the camera angles. Like there was one scene where before everything like really kicked off, where Hal had the monkey in his backpack. And before he even fully opened his bag, there was a slit in it, and you could see the reflection from the light on the eyes of the monkey. Killer scene. You really had to look hard because his eyes are they're black eyes.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
You really can't see him at all. But because of the very dim light that hit it in the right way, you could see his eyes. Badass. Or there was where like his whole hallucination or dream because he killed the monkey with like a cleaver.
Yeah,
all that. The monkey switched on him in his dream, and like we're looking down at him. He's still in bed, you can tell.
Yeah.
Because he's laying a certain way, and then the monkey he like wakes up, and the monkey's starting to chop him, looking down at him.
It picks him up.
Picks him up.
Yeah, it literally picks him up, puts him on the table like he was, and then it tries to chop away at him.
Yeah, it was. I mean, some great camera angles and everything, but
I also like how like you can hear the drum
so good.
Like no matter at least for him, like no matter where he was, like it was like when he first goes to his dead aunt's house to like see if the monkey's still there, or to see if the monkey is there. The what was it? The real estate agent's like trying to open up the door, and like as they're talking, he's like not sure if he can hear it or not. And then by the time he realizes what it is that like that's about to happen, it's like too late. She opens the door, and it's like
bang, shotgun blows her up. 18 million pieces. Yeah.
She literally explodes. Yes.
Actually, I like the monkey music, anyways. Like the actual music that they gave for him for like the drum solo. Oh, I will say towards the end with when Bill met his demise, to me it was so funny. Like the monkey got super mad and just started hitting the meanest drum solo ever.
Yeah.
Just going down.
And then the whole town basically dies. Yeah.
So, yeah, then you look out the window, the whole town's on fire. It looks like that one. It looks like the one clip where they put the Playboy Cardi music over Spider-Man just walking through the town destroyed. from I forget what video game it was.
Yeah. Speaking of Bill, I dislike the premise of the movie, with Bill essentially being the antagonist on the latter half. It just seemed like
He
such
was
a
the antagonist the whole film, to be honest.
yeah, I guess you
Whether
can put
he was antagonizing his little brother at the beginning towards all the way to the end, where he was,
yeah, that was whatever to me. I don't understand the obsession with the monkey. I don't understand. I didn't really. I'm probably gonna sound bad. I didn't really understand PD's obsession with his father either. But that's besides the point. What a roundabout way to try to kill your brother.
yeah.
It
Just
like
kill him.
yeah. It was just so.
Just shoot him.
It was just so dumb. I just couldn't. I couldn't hang with that.
No.
I was so much more like into it when I thought that like, all right, cool, like they hate each other, they're not gonna talk to each other, and I'll shoot the monkeys back. We're gonna have to team up.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Such a better story.
Yeah, to like team up, figure out who the freak has this monkey,
Absolutely.
and then try to do like that's what I thought was gonna happen.
I thought so too.
And it's not even that like okay. It's not even that like that was like a bad premise in and of itself. It was more of the fact that like I just couldn't take Bill seriously because he's literally a child.
Yeah.
He's like how he literally sewed back together his old funeral suit.
Yeah.
Like together with like his flame like it was just I don't know, I just couldn't take him serious.
It was not in any way serious at all.
Like I genuinely I was watching a movie like how did you
get 20 like to
yeah how did you survive 25 years?
Yeah.
Like with that mentality, and honestly, the same for Hal. Like he works at like
a grocery store.
Yeah, he works at a grocery store.
Yeah.
Like that's what you did your whole life.
Yeah, for 25 years, you just went to the grocery store in the same town.
And then like again, I just don't understand how like why even have a kid?
Yeah, he just like first of all, look, the whole movie, Hal has not spoken to a single female. I'm not saying like again, we only saw him when he was a kid.
I'm sorry, that man was beautiful.
No, yeah,
that guy was handsome
great
as hell.
looking. Absolutely,
that guy. I saw him. I was like, oh, okay, he got a crazy glow.
Yeah,
up.
he got an insane glow up, but he was so awkward and bad at talking to anyone. Mind you, he also stated he never wanted to get close to anyone. He didn't want his son to be near him. He only saw him once a year for like maybe a week because he was so scared the monkey was going to kill everything close by to him. How the hell did he have a girl? Or how did he the hell talk to anyone? How? Don't just give me that. If it should have had some small notes. If it wanted to say that, okay, he managed to get a kid, it should have had some kind of giveaways or small notes to be like, okay, he had this one girl from high school that always rocked with him. Or maybe he was one of his bullies. Have some kind of dumb storyline. I don't care. It could be the worst thing ever. Don't just pop up and be like, he has a kid and he's like fucking 17. That kid was old as hell, dude.
Yeah, the way they spoke about him in the movie, I was assuming he was gonna be like, like the mom was like, "Oh yeah, he's doing like a family tree. He's asking about you." I was like, "Oh okay, he must be like 10,
like 8, 9, 10."
This guy,
this fucking 20-year-old comes out, you know,
like he's been asking about you. Like he can't call him himself. I don't know. It was just so weird.
It's not. I don't know. I understand like the whole broken family dynamic, and maybe he never wants to talk to his dad, but he's curious. He's asking his mom or whatever. But
yeah, but it's not curiosity. It's literally just an obsession that I could not figure out, man.
Yeah.
Like,
and he got so mad at his dad too when he was like, "Do you have a brother?" He's like, "Nah." And then she was like, "Oh, your brother, by the way." And he was just like incredibly upset. Bro,
even though your dad literally only sees you once a year.
Yeah,
I just don't understand what he was expecting from his father.
But and
then like he was planning on telling him about the monkey eventually, which is you don't even know how that conversation would have ended up anyway.
Yeah, the whole thing was crazy. But also just I feel like PD, first of all, no hate on the actor, but his acting wasn't the best in my opinion. I didn't like the way he spoke some of those lines or like the way he said things. I don't think his acting was terrible. I just maybe his character was just written.
I think that's what it was because it's just a weird like he was just like super snarky.
I just really hated like when he found out. He didn't even find out that his dad's mom died, but he asked about it. He's like, oh, like,
he did.
Well, he did know, of course, because Bill was like, yeah, my mom's name was. Lois. And
But
so,
he told him that he knew about the adoption.
right. So again, I guess he known, but he just asked, "Oh, hey, how'd your mom die? By the way, dude, if that was the real world, that kid would have gotten slapped to hell. I don't know, maybe.
Yeah.
You know, that's not a normal and not to bring it up that way either. Luckily, this is just a comedy film, so he was just like,
I mean, to be fair, also
blah, blah.
he doesn't respect his father at all.
not even a little bit.
So it doesn't really, you know what I mean? And I don't mean it in the sense of like, oh, you can see it in the show. It's like if you're talking to like he's basically a stranger.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's just like, yeah, he just doesn't.
And he's even like just making fun of him in front of like the realtor. He's just like, oh, hey, by the way, this isn't gonna be my dad for a couple of days. Like, I'm never gonna see this guy again. So basically, not my dad. You know, whatever. And he just doesn't have anything to say. First of all, it's true, but also like,
if that's how you feel,
yeah,
then why even go on this?
I don't even know where to start rating this film, to be honest with you, because I liked a lot of different parts of it, but also I can't just give it any kind of high score at all. I really can't give it anywhere near the top, the 10, 9, 8. Anything higher than like a 7, I don't think I can do. Just because it was enjoyable, but it gave me nothing, and it wasn't even that good of an adaptation from what I know. It just the characters kind of sucked. The story was pretty trash. To me, the effects on the death were horrible. The actual gore sucked. So, I don't know. The comedy was all right. The comedy was all right, and I liked the actual monkey itself. And I liked some of the camera work and a bunch of other things. So, not all bad. I'm glad I did watch it. You know, it's not like, oh, I wasted my time. It's a short film, too. I appreciate that. I can always appreciate a short film. I don't even know where to start rating this, though. Yeah.
I feel like a 5.5.
I could rock with that.
I feel like I'm just bitter. I'm just a little bitter just because, like, I just don't feel like it was promoted as a comedy.
No, it really wasn't. I was expecting to get, not scared. I don't ever really get that scared about these films, but I wanted something more creepy, more dark,
more atmosphere,
yeah. I wanted an actual. I feel like I haven't seen a horror film in forever. I should have kind of known. It's called The Fucking Monkey.
I'll go with 5.5.
That's cool. Yeah, the monkey is a 5.5 out of 10. Then yeah, that's the most. That's generous, honestly. I feel like that's generous.
I don't know about generous, but
I mean,
I think it's just.
Yeah, you can probably go 5.5, 6. That's probably the best rating I'd say for this film. I can't go any higher than that, to be honest. We're gonna talk about more of the numbers and some of the other things after opening weekend on the actual podcast next week. But this was just our review as we watched the pre-screening of it. So thank you so much for watching. Check out the podcast every other Sunday. And thank you so much. Don't watch that film, or do. Let us know what you think. The Monkey.
The Monkey. Yeah. Terrible.
Terrible.